Hey, welcome to this edition of Thrive. As always, I hope it finds you well, though of course after 102 days of no COVID and that sense that we had escaped the worst of things, here we are with COVID, with level 2, level 3, depending upon where you are, with headlines and media reports that are now just stirring up anxieties and worries in people again. And I was thinking about this, and as I was praying, I was reminded of that old saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. And I can't help but think that a better motto perhaps for us in these days is to ignore the headlines and live life anyway. And I say that because listening to people talk, so many people seem to be allowing what's happening in the world, to allow headlines, to allow scientists, to allow politicians to rob them of the life that Jesus says he and he alone has given us. He says, I came to give you life and life in all its fullness. In other words, your sense of well-being, your sense of purpose, your sense of hope is not tied to circumstance. It's not tied to headlines. It's not determined by scientists. It's not held in the hands of politicians. It's established and upheld by the creator of the heavens and the earth. And I don't know what a full life looks like for you, but I know what it doesn't include. It doesn't include fear. The Bible says in 2 Timothy 1:6 or 1:7 that we haven't received a spirit of fear. When you read headlines, when you listen to media reports, when you look at what's happening and you allow that to unsettle you, to cause you to become anxious, to rob you of what God has for you, you have allowed a spirit of fear to come back in and take the place of what God has freed you from. He said you haven't received a spirit of fear. In other words, you don't need to be anxious. You don't need to be fearful because I'm in control. I've already spoken. I've spoken from the cross that no matter where you find yourself, I am with you. No matter what's happening in your life, I am there. And greater is I in you than the things around you. So don't be anxious. Don't be fearful. Because I've already spoken, I am with you, not against you. And so don't let headlines, don't let politicians, don't let world events rob you of the life that God has got for you. And another thing that I know that a full life, whatever it looks like for you, doesn't include is worry. In the Beatitudes in Matthew 6, Jesus talks about how we shouldn't worry about the day-to-day things. We shouldn't worry about job security, about mortgages and about all of the things that everyone else worries about. We should focus instead on learning to live right before God and allow him to take care of all of those other things, because just as he does it for the birds of the air and the flowers of the field, he'll do it for you and I, because we are far, far, far more important to him than those things. And he says, if I do it for those, why wouldn't I do it for you? And that's why you don't need to worry. That's why you don't need to be fearful about what's happening. Don't let headlines rob you of living life to the fullest. In Jeremiah, as the exiles were fearful and anxious about the future, God said to them, if you want security, he said, pray for the welfare of the cities in which you find yourself. They may be hostile, they may be against you, but pray to the Lord for them, because in their welfare, you'll find your own. In other words, your well-being is tied to the lives of others. If you want to thrive, pray for others, build them up, encourage them, ignore the headlines. When you come across people who are anxious, speak into their life, speak hope, speak purpose, speak grace. Speak the things that are going to take their eyes off headlines, off events, to heaven, where God continues to reign in glory. Because when we seek the welfare of the city, when we become focused on building others up and caring for them, then we ourselves are going to experience what Jesus said we'd experience, that the fullness, the abundance of life. Because our life is not based on circumstance, it's based on relationship with God and those around us. And so I want to encourage you, no matter where you find yourself, no matter what level of anxieties you may be wrestling with, don't listen to the headlines. Don't let world events shape your sense of well-being and purpose. Don't let these rob you of the life that God has for you. Instead, look beyond these to heaven. Look to the one who holds all things in the palm of his hand. Look to the one who has begun a good work in you and will see it through to completion. And allow him to be your peace. Take your sense of well-being, your sense of purpose, your sense of identity from him and him alone. And out of that, be a blessing to others. So that's my encouragement to you. I hope you find it helpful. Until next time, God bless.